Good morning, everybody. Welcome to a video. Now, this is a weird video, I suppose. Recently, there has been Lodge Wars 5 going on in Legions on the Discord, right? And the structure of it is very different to what it has been in the past, where we're in the group stage right now, and the group stage is 5 rounds. But of those 5 rounds, one is a bye, so 4 rounds. I'm only playing in one of those rounds because it's the Lodge. 3 people playing each round, and you can't play in back-to-back rounds. So if you play round 1, you can't play in round 2, but you can then play in round 3. Anyways, so this is round 4 we're in, and I've got my 2 warlords fighting another person's 2 warlords. There's 3 people in each team, 2 warlords each. Each team can't have a same warlord within the team, so 6 different legions, 6 different warlords is effectively what it is. And I played my games last night while I was at work, so I couldn't do live combat. These are my games. I'm going to show you them. They were really fun and exciting, and I was on Santar and Vulcan is what I chose, and my opponent is on Angron and Horus. Now, that's actually quite good matchups, because Vulcan should beat both. I've got so much health, and since the Vulcan buffs is pretty good, even though he did get nerfed relatively recently for a few of those bits. And then there's Santar. Now, Santar can struggle unless he draws really well, and he can be teched towards a lot more, so it's a bit of a thing. Anyways, let's just get into game 1. I decided to open Santar since you can tech towards him harder, so if I win with Vulcan first, it's bad to play Santar second. So I'll play Santar, and let's get into the first game. Alright, so I did tech my deck a bit, obviously. Man, I've got no game sound on. Hang on, let me put that on. We open like this. I open a servo. I'm like, okay, good. Against Angron, if I can get a servo arm up, that makes me feel really good, right? And this opening is kind of okay. We've got some options. Turn 1 play. This is for like Brond, or if he's playing the 6/6 vehicle that he could get out early or whatever. The fall is kind of a whatever. I think I took 1 out when I was teching, because versing Horus and versing Angron, you really don't need both. So I was like, okay, no, I can take 1 out and keep 1. So I saw it, that's fine. Lucky me, look at this. Servo arm off the supply lines, right? How good's that? That feels so good. Especially against Angron, right? So we play it, we feel really good about ourselves at this stage. We're feeling quite good in this first game. So we're seeing S117. Never heard of the player before, but he does alright. Anyways, he decides to Remembrance Order my heals, and I'm like, woof. Like, that's a 0 out of 10. And that's the card that he got off his other card, turn 1. Anyway, so we're healing 2, and he's going to start healing too soon, which is kind of annoying. We decided to Mortar Strike here because I've got nothing really else to do, and while he's got nothing on field, it's not bad. It still puts him down a bit of life. Knowing that he's going to heal for 2, and I'm going to be healing for 4, is actually kind of fine, because he has to keep swinging, so that 2 damage is negated by our 2, but his 2 heal, right? But he'll be hitting for 3, and we're healing for 4, so we're net 1 life every turn, and he's just net 0. And then he has to keep attacking, and we don't. You know, we can like shoot for 2 and get 2 extra damage in and stuff like that. So having both servo arms here, I'm feeling I'm in a really strong position, I feel. I'm in a very strong position here. Anyways, he heals the 2. Angron with healing 2 every turn, like Jesus, right? Good thing we're healing 4. Good thing we're healing 4. That's all I can say. And he plays Bronze. We don't really mind. We got Widow. It's fine, so it's there for. I was trying to figure it out. Oh, should I Pharom in and then counterattack swing at it or whatever? I was like, nah, Pharom's just face damage. I'll just Widow this, and then I'll shoot him for 2. Right, the only other deadly thing I could think of in his deck that's really gonna worry us, like all of the fast stuff or little stuff, doesn't matter since we're healing 4 a turn and we're on 26. The only thing that matters is the 6/6 vehicle. And since he's playing supply lines, I know he's playing it. He's playing a very odd deck to fight me, and I think he realized that he needs it in order to beat through the heals. And there it is. And now I'm like, okay, that's a little sucky, but I think it's fine because I can just Pharom it and then counterattack, swing at it, right? Is my kind of play here. Or I can, the fall, counterattack, and shoot it. Here, I just use Command Bridge and I get Widow. I'm like, okay, well, let's take the easy way out, I think, and let's just Widow it. Let's just take the damage, it's fine. He's got 1 more in his deck. If he sees it, he sees it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. At that stage, I might try and keep these 2 just to shoot it for 3, shoot it for 3, right? Let's get rid of the easy way. Let's shoot him for 2. Keep pinging him down. Since we played those heals, we started, I think, on 26. Now we're on 25. Now 22, right? And I'm going to heal up to back to 6. So, like, okay, he Mortar Strikes me. I'm like, okay. You know, effectively that Mortar Strike did 1 damage. Because of my heals. So I'm in a good position here. I'm in a very good position. At this stage with 8 energy, I'm assuming he's playing the Conqueror since he's got a later game type of Angron he's playing. So I don't really want to flood the field. I was thinking of playing one of these and then the Dewback, but I was like, no, let's play this. Let's see if we can get a Conqueror. Right? If we do, we do. We don't, you know? He plays Breach. I'm like, okay, then here comes the Strike and Fade. And that's fair enough for him to be playing, especially for this. Like, he knew that I could potentially be playing this or any frontliners at all. So having Breach is fine. You know, good for him. Down to 5 energy. He plays Gore Child. I'm like, okay, my heals are just straight negating that now, and he's healing till a turn. So effectively, if none of us play any cards, we'll just sit here on this health forever. We get a Fire Alpha here. I'm like, okay, I can deal with the Fire Alpha. It's another card that I teched in for knowing that I'm versing Burn and Aggro. So we play it, we heal up. Pretty sure I play Dewback here. Yep, play Dewback. I'm like, okay. Don't really need to play the Corvin squads just yet. They don't really matter anymore because he can just swing at them. I'm like, I'll use them to push in the late game. I can play them both next turn, getting 6 damage in. We get Sweeping Advance here, which usually I don't really care for getting. But in this, I was like, oh, no, this is good. We've got way more lethal than what he's going to be expecting now. He plays a very well-timed Volcanic Instability there. But look at his life. He's on 14, and we're on 21. So we're in a good position here. We are quite well off here. I'm feeling pretty happy. I think this turn I decide to go all in. Yeah. I'm like, I've got Cruiser in hand. You know, I can swing at him. I've got Sweeping Advance. Like, let's just double shit and get him to 8, right? And he'll heal up to 10. I've still got my counter attack, but he can't push 21 damage in one turn. It doesn't matter what he's got in his hand. He's not pushing 21 damage. Any Armor of Masters? Like, okay. Yep, that's fair. I'd be playing that too in this matchup, but, you know, he doesn't get it back in his deck, so it's fine. And then we just win. Between Cruiser and Sweeping Advance, we've just got lethal. So smacking for 7. Cruiser him down. And then I think I just counterattack swing, just because, whatever. Yeah, counterattack. And bonk. Alright, so that's game 1. Feeling very good now. Feeling very good now. I've got Vulcan left, and we did take the deck a tiny bit for these matchups. And then we're going into game 2, so let's get into it. So he decides to change to Horus, and I'm like, that's fine. You know, I've got audible combat and stuff like that. We open this, and I decide to keep all of it. I'm like, this is a great opening hand. You know, ability turn 1, hope turn 2, and the trip turn 3. Feeling very strong here. He did this turn 1, and I was like, what in the name of Horus are you playing? I was like, that's such a weird card to be playing. Right? I was so weirded out by it. Anyways, we use our ability. We're just going to cop the 3 damage in the early game. It's fine. He draws up, and he chooses not to swing with it. And I was like, okay, whatever. I mean, you know. I decided that he's got the 3/3s with fast. He's got a 6/3 with drop pod. That putting these out might prevent me from taking like 6 damage. You know, or 3 damage, you know. I'm like, okay, so he chariots me. I'm more cool and dandy with that. That's fine. And swings at one of my things. So here I'm thinking, okay, he's done that because maybe he has Frag Grenade or something. So I play my troop. I swing with the one that lost Survivor just in case he does have a Frag Grenade so he doesn't get super value off it. He only gets a little bit of value here. Anyways, he draws up and he sabotages. I'm okay. Good tech to be playing Sabotage against Vulcan. Gets rid of that Survival or your Sacrifice effects. Very good idea. So we swing for 3 because there's no point in not here. I think I keep my 2/1 as is. We play Hope. I could have played the front line here, but I think I was fine with Hope because I wanted to do Sorrow here. I was like, oh, it's a 3/1. It's still 3 attack, right? If he plays Troops, swings at face, or if he plays the 6/4 or anything like that, there's heaps of stuff he could play that 3 attack just helps me deal with against Horus. Now he uses his stun here. I'm like, okay. Makes it slightly harder for me to deal with, but that's okay. What do I do here? I can't even remember what I do here. Swing at that. What else do we do? That makes sense. Do we Scorched Earth? No. Yeah, we play our 5-drop. Now here, I do play Audible Combat because it increases the tactics by 3. And if he's got some outflank, which would be his best way of dealing with this, he can't play because it makes it cost 8. Right, so that's why I did that there. And that felt good. I was like, okay, good. You know, turn 7, I'm on 31 with Survivor 5. This was an issue. He played this, and I've got no real way to deal with it. Except for hoping that 4 damage hit there, which it didn't. And I was like, well, damn. Now, I'm going to pause right here. I decided to heal here for a couple of reasons. I ummed and ahed here for a while. I was thinking of playing Scorched Earth, right? Deals 2 damage to everything. Kills this. Proc the sacrifice, and it'll deal 4 damage. Either it's going to deal 4 more damage to face, or it's going to kill Malgahurst, right? If it deals 4 damage to face, I got to take the 8 damage, and he's taking 8 damage off this thing, right? I was like, okay, well, that could happen. Or I could just say, okay, let's not take the 50-50. Let's heal up. He can have a heal. Let's Scorched Earth. He can have a Scorched Earth. This stays alive. Resolution gains Survivor 2. We then have to swing at this thing. That's fine. Take the 8 damage. We're still up on health here. That sucked, but it's fine. Play a Frontliner. Now, this is going to have 1 health, Survivor 2. He has to put a bit of resources in this to now kill it. Plays his second Sabotage. I'm like, okay, that's fine. I can deal. I was hoping to bait maybe an outflank, so when I play this, the outflank's gone. Plays the Scorched Earth. I'm like, okay, yep, that's fair. And then he lands this guy. I'm like, okay. You know what, that's fine. You know, what do you get, Khorne? Yeah, you got Khorne. So, I take the 5 damage here. And, again, I decided to do something tricky here. Instead of playing this straight out and just losing to an outflank, we use Resilience, Drilling Site Resilience to get 2 of these on board, which are very threatening still. If he plays anything, they can just, you know, explode off board wide. But they don't die to just an outflank. You know? I was like, if I just play this, he outflanks. It has, you know, 4 energy left. And sure enough, he plays the outflank. So, right decision by me there. I'm like, okay, well, this is a little too late. Don't really care about that. And he decides to heal up. I don't know why he healed up there. It's not like he was at 10 cards or anything, but I was like, whatever. So this makes me feel good. We play the Giant Boy, and we can protect it with Audible Combat. So I was like, okay, sweet. Easy as. Smacking for the 3, because I feel as if, like, we are kind of low on life. We need to be sure that we don't just get Vengeful Spirit. Plays the tank, and he gets the bad 50-50. So it goes to our turn, and we draw. Now, I thought long and hard here about what I was going to do. And maybe I should have done something different here. I really wanted to hit face. But I was like, if I hit face, right, then you've got 8 damage. Like, how do I get the rest of the damage in, right? So you've got 6 health, puts you to 4. Then what do I do to get the last bit of damage in, right? There's multiple things I could have done here. I could have just swung face, played the Frontliner. But I was like, I kind of need to deal with this. Can I, like, he's the aggro warlord. Can I really afford not destroying this? Because the way to destroy it is just swing at it. Procs this thing, deals 4 damage to everything. He clears board, he's down to 10, I'm down to 11, this dies, I have an 8-3. Right? So I'm like, okay, let's start with hope. Let's see what we draw. And we get Lord Mount. Useless. I'm like, great, okay. Pings everything for 4, I decide to get rid of it at that stage. We then play the front line, I'm like, okay, here's what we do. We play the Lord Malk as well. And we Devotion. Now we have a board full of semi-big things here. I'm like, okay, well, he'll just shoot this for 4. Cool. It's 4 damage that's not going face, right? Then he lands this. And I was like, okay, ouch. Lands another one of those. I'm like, my hand's not really set up for this. You know, okay, let's draw. Okay, alright, let's draw. Okay, alright, let's draw. Because I really don't want to kind of just sacrifice this stuff here. I get Scorched Earth. I'm like, okay. Maybe I can be spicy here. You know? We smack face. Then I'm like, okay, this is the dangerous one. Let's smack face there. Let's Scorched Earth, put you to 3. And then we'll Ash and Bone this, right? I'm like, you should have one big threat left in your deck. We have Manifest. Seduction of Chaos. What is this? I was like, what is this deck? Like, are you actually serious? I'm like, okay. Well, that kind of screwed up my plans. And now we draw the Benevolence. I'm like, okay, well, it is what it is. I'm like, okay, hope, cool. Let's hope this works. And I get that. I'm like, well, let's not die, because I'm like, okay, here, if he Vengeful Spirits, Frag Grenades, then he kills me. So I was like, okay, let's heal. Let's play the Chaplain. Heals us another one. So we're 13 health, Survivor 6. We'll definitely survive the turn, right? We got the Survivor 5 for later. We're down to only a few cards. I'm like, okay, so he's got Vengeful Spirit at this stage. I'm like, okay, well, here's the Gorgon squad. Here's the Fast Boys. Sacrifices it there because he knows he needs to keep the front line up. And I was like, oh, Drachnid. What? I was like, what? Okay, you do you. We draw the draw card. I'm like, okay, let's cycle. At this stage, healing 2 is not going to win me the game. So I'm like, okay. Let me just get... Oh, okay, that's good. Okay, here we go. Play that. Let me do this. He's on 1. So the reason I did decide to do this turn and not wait until next turn, as in just not play anything and just wait on it, maybe swing at this or whatever, is because if I hadn't, right, shoots me for 8, puts me to 5. 2, 3, 6, I die, right? Because he'd be on 2 health still. If I do this, he puts him to 1 health. He's unable to swing at me when he needs to in order to either force a draw or to kill me. And it's like, okay, needed to do that. Now, this smoke grenade was clutch. I'm like, damn. Because he needed to kill this or stun it. Smacks me for 6. I'm like, okay, yeah. Doesn't smack me for 3 because he's smart. And I'm like, okay, what do I do here? Unfortunately, I'm on 4 health. So I can't trigger my Reckoning, which would be nice. And I get a top deck Drilling Sight. I'm okay. Well, almost anything else would have been great here. You know? I'm like, what can this possibly get? Like, okay, let's get Chaplain. Technically gives us 1 extra health, right? Drilling Sight into Manifest. And that's all of our cards. 4 health, Survivor 11, but he's just got Lethal. If he's got Vengeful, which, let's be real, he's got Vengeful. So I feel as if, I don't know if I misplayed. Like, I think in the earlier turns, I should have been maybe a little bit more aggressive instead of trying to deal with that 6-3 or whatever. Maybe I should have just smacked face, put him to 1 early instead of 3 or something. But, I don't know. Who knows how that would have gone if I'd done that. Regardless, he got me in game 2, and I was like, geez Louise. What a weird deck, and what a close game. You know, like, it was a nail-biter. Anyways, let's go into game 3. So, of course, now I'm playing Vulcan. He's playing Angron. I sided out 1 card and put in a Storm Eagle for later on in the game, just in case I needed to stun him. I can't remember what card I took out, but I was like, okay. Look, again, Audible Combat's great. We're feeling okay here. We use our ability turn 1. Get Devotion on my Corp. Devotion helps us out a lot. Some free damage to face. He abandoned supplies. Good opening for him. I'm like, yep, cool. Go to mine. Do I hope or do I Devotion? I can't remember. I played these games at work and I was a bit distracted. So I hope. He hopes, I hope. And we get the Ancient Savior. So I was like, okay. No, I'm cool with that. That's getting that for 6. And then he Gorge Hearts. I was like, ew, how about mirroring me from game 1, hey? Where I got my equivalent on Santa, the healing. I was like, okay, well that sucks, but we have a lot of health, it's okay. I'm like, okay, let's play this guy, because he could swing out and take 3 instead of dealing with me, and that feels good. Or he doesn't, and I get 5 damage on, like... If you want to deal with this, I'm not taking damage, and it's hard to deal with. It expends a lot of your resources. He decides to just go face. I'm like, okay, that's cool. That's cool. You can Wonders now. Wonder. Him playing Wonders here is a terrible idea because he knows I got a stun card. So I don't know why he did that. Anyways, we smack him. Get the 5 damage in. Feels good. Now we play our frontliner here, and I'm pretty sure I protect it with Audible Combo. Okay. Let's say he can't breach this turn. Helps me out a bit. You know? Also says he can't 4-drop, hit everything for 2, so swinging out at 4-drop, wipe it a bit. You know? Makes him think a little harder here. I'm like, happy days. Swing for 3, get that 5 damage in. And we play our big boy. Great time to play it. Leave our frontliner alive, say, you know, deal with it. So he counterattacks it. And he shoots it for 1. That feels good. Now here... I'm like, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Are you just dealing with my big guy? Or are you going face? And he decides, I'm going to deal with the big guy. I'm like, perfect. That's 7 damage, and then another 4 that's not going phase, and he took 8. I'm like, okay. Great position here for me. Great position. We've got the Manifest to survive even longer. We've got options. We get a Benevolence here. And maybe should have played Devotion here to get some stuff on field, but I'm like, no, let's play the Manifest. 37 life to 16. You know, feeling good. He tucks down the big guy. I'm like, well, that's not great. And then he Remembrance orders. I'm like, oh no, that's Manifest. Last card I played was Manifest. So I'm like, okay, what do I do here? Let's start with the command bridge. Let's see what we can draw. I'm like, nothing really good here. Let's just make his tactics cost more, right? I'm like, let's draw again. Okay, sure. Let's draw again. I'm like, okay, now our resilience here. I'm like, what's the best here? Let's get this, because if he wants to deal with it, he's got to swing at it. If he doesn't deal with it, we're going to get some splash damage on him, and he's lower health than me. You know, I decided to do that to audible combat so he can't just shoot it off board with ease. You know, I was like, let's protect it a little bit, make it a little harder for him, so he has to use his troops. He does swing at it, and then he plays Volcanic Instability. I'm like, okay. 8 energy Volcanic Instability, puts him on 8. I take the 6 here, it's fine. I'm on 24, he's on 8. We've got the Scorched Earth for it. We're feeling just fine here, right? I was trying to figure out how to kill him here, but we could only... I think I decided I could only get him to 2. So yeah, we do this right. We take 2, he takes 2, the thing dies, we all both take 2 again. So he's on 4. I'm like, okay, let's use my ability. You get a resilience, and I'm cool. I decide what I want to do here. I'm like, let's just heal 4. Healing 4 is the best here. Keep myself well out of lethal range. I'm like, well, if he's got another Volcanic Instability, or if he can ping himself for 1, or whatever, then he'll get his Reckoning off, and then he's got Manifest in hand in order to survive the longer after he's got his Reckoning. I'm like, there's a lot of things he could do here. But I don't know if he had the Volcanic Instability first, or what, but he plays it. Gets himself to 1. Plays Whispers. Unfortunately, this only heals him for 5, right? And now he doesn't have enough to play Manifest, and I'm like, okay. GG, well played. You know, he smacks me for 10. Triggers my Reckoning, and I can just swing back. 6 damage. Easy. Done. Unfortunately, I kept my health too high for him to just be able to burst me down at the end, so I really wasn't worried about the Reckoning. Bit of BM at the end there, because it's funny. You know, Demon Prince Angron smacking face with Vulcan, and Vulcan just going... What up, bro? And yeah, so those are the games. That second game was tied. I feel as if I was in control of the other 2 games for the most part, but that second game was really good. Anyways, big shout out to S117, good games, and we will see how we go. So far in this competition, the Masterclass team, which I'm not in the Masters of the Universe team, even though that's the lodge I'm in, but I mean Masterclass, the team for Masterclass, I think we lost the first round, then won the second round by third round, and now we're 1 up in this round. So my other 2, the people playing with me, are yet to play their rounds. And we'll see. If we win this one and we win the next one, we'll go into the top 8 cut, I believe. I can't remember how they're doing it. But yeah, anyways, guys, have a really great afternoon, and I'll see you next time. Bye!